Ganapataye Namaha. Om Namah Pranavartaya Suddha-jnanaika-murtaye Nirmalaya-prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Nidhaye sarva-vidhyanam Vishaje bhavaroginam Gurave sarva-lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tadho jayam udirayet. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Krishnam Narayanam Vande, Krishnam Vande Vrajapriyam, Krishnam Dvaipayanam Vande, Krishnam Vande Pradasudam. Janmatyasya edonmayati itarascha arteshva abhigyasvarat, tene brahmagritaya adikavaye muhyandi yasurayah, tejo varirutam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo mrusha dhamne svena sadha nirasta gugagam satyam param dhimahi. Nama sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukkha samanah tam namami harim param. Satchidananda rupaya vishwodbhatyadi hedave Tabatraya vinashaya Shri Krishnaya vayam numaha. Yam pravrajantam manupetam apeda krityam Dvaipayano virakakatara ajuhava Putredi tanmaya dayadaravo bineduhu Tam sarva bhuta kritayam munimanatosmi. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So, Lagunyanyani Jathani Gauravena idam Mahat Tadarushikanaha Sarve Vismayam Paramam Yayuhu. This is what we saw last time. So, Anyani Lagunyani. So, everything else is very light in glory compared to Shrimad Bhagavatam. This is you remember that Brahmaji is weighing the Bhagavatam on one end and everything else on the other end. It's just an illustration to state the prominence of Shrimad Bhagavatam. And this is being looked by everybody else, the Nityasuris and the Devas. So the doubt may come in our mind, right? If Vedanta, Upanishad, Yogas, Sankhyas, everything in Tapas, everything is put on one side compared to the Bhagavata Shravanam, and this is better than this. So we have been learned that Jnanam is very important, and that's where the Jnanam eva Kaivalyam and everything. And how can this be superior? The import is all the Jnanams are leading to emancipation, leading to freedom, leading to attain divinity. So if that is ultimate Jnanam, what can be better than that? No other Jnanam can be better than that. Therefore, it is not comparing Jnanam from the Bhagavatam that you get, from the Jnanam that you get from the everything else, or any Punyam you get from everything else. What does it mean? It means in Bhagavatam, you get Bhagavan. Bhagavatam is Bhagavan. So only Bhagavan can be superior to all that in this world. So the import of this sloga is, yes, Jnanam is superior. But when you compare to Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam itself is a Bhagavan. So Bhagavatam is no more a book, no more a sastric content, no more a sastric rasam, but it is Bhagavan himself. I think there are a lot of pramanams. In pramanams, Uddhava Gita, Bhagavan says, I shall be in the form of Bhagavatam. See, we are generally tuned to seeing God in a form. So you have the Nirguna Brahman that you cannot see. And there's Saguna Brahman, the Sagala Kalyana Guna. And we formulate a form and then we worship that. But there is something in between. That's what we have failed to notice, because the most subtlest form that you can still see with your eyes is the fire. In the subtler form, the fire is the only one you can see. There's nothing subtler that you can see. Therefore, if you want to move from Saguna Brahman to Nirguna Brahman, you move from the Vigraham to form to a Linga to a Jyoti. That's why Jyoti is in all the temple puja room, we have the Jyoti, because that is the most subtlest gross form that you can see. Right? But we know that it is formless. So therefore, we should push ourselves to move into something subtler than that. That's what is being said in the next sloka. The next sloka says, Menire Bhagavat Rubam Sastram Bhagavatam Kalau Padana Shravana Satyo Vaikunta Palatayakam. So all these devas and everybody is now Menire, those rishis, those devas who have been watching the Brahmas weighing the Shrimad Bhagavatam, in the Kali Yuga, in this world, in this time, Bhagavat Rupam, Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is Bhagavat Rupam. Bhagavatam is nothing but Bhagavat Rupam. But is it a book? Is it the book with a bound with red color, green color? Or is it the content? The content we know, Sastram. The content is Vedas. But it is Shakta Rupam, Shakta Prasam. Ambal is called Bhasha Rupini, Shabda Brahmamayi, Paramayi, Chinmayi. We say all that to Ambal. Because sound is even finer than the fire. Because fire, the action finished, the eyes cannot see anymore. But the ears can hear. That's why Padanath, you can read Shravanath by hearing Satyaha, truthfully, Vaikunta Paladayakam. We already saw the Vaikuntam. Vaikuntam is the Paramapadam where God is there. But we know God is everywhere. But it cannot be a physical place where God is there. So the imagery is very important to motivate us to go through the Vaikunta Lokam. And there are pictures on the internet drawing the geometry of where the Vaikuntam is. But Vaikuntam, Bhagavatam is saying in the Ekadashi Skandam, it comes Vaikuntam, Vikuntam, Cha, Swayam, Bhavam. Where you are penetrating into your consciousness and you are there as a free, beyond embodiments. Atma Swarupam. So Vaikuntam is therefore Atma Sthidihi, Atma Labham. So therefore, that is Satyam, that you will get. By what? By Padat and Shravanat. By reading it. Okay, reading is important because somebody have to read, understand, get anubhuti to say to others. The reading is reading with your eyes. Tejas, eyes, letters, form. We already saw that fire is a form, that is the subtlest one, but we want to go beyond that. Therefore, the one who reads is not even seeing the subtler one than one who listens. You see? That is why listening is more important. You're going to learn the story about how Narada comes back and listens. So many times he listened Bhagavatam, but he still listens. Bruhime Bhagavatam, it comes in Bhagavatam itself. In Bhagavatam itself, say, give me Bhagavatam. There's a conversation going there, which clearly means that Bhagavatam is not the text. Bhagavatam is Bhagavan, Atma Jnanam, Atma Swarupam itself, not Jnanam, Atma Swarupam itself. Uttara comes in the later chapters in Bhagavatam, the third Skantam. He was very agitated because Duryodhana abuses him. And therefore he walks away, takes a pilgrimage and goes around. And Bhagavan is very graceful, and wherever he goes, he gives his darshan. So he goes to each temple, and like that he comes, and one place he meets Maitreya Maharshi, Maitreya Muni. And what does he ask? I said, please teach me, tell me about Krishna Prabhavam. Shraddha Dhaneha. He says, I am just dying to listen to. He knows Krishna very well, but listening more and more and more. So that's why he says, Shravanath. So we should pick up that one. Shravanath is more important. So by listening more, because every time you listen, this is Vedanta, isn't it? Bhagavatam is Vedanta. Shastra. I'm not saying this, but Padmapurana is saying this. So Vedantam, you have to listen again and again and again. For many reasons, because every time you listen, you go from understanding to assimilation to absorption to, at some stage, Chinmayam, the knowledge itself. I remember one interview where this Bruce Lee gave, the great karate master. And he said, I'm not afraid of fighters who learned 10,000 different skills. But I am afraid of a fighter who learns one skill 10,000 times. He just needs one blow in a particular spot, can knock the opponent down, and he only practices that part. He is more intense, more powerful. So intensity of purpose comes by repetition. So don't ever get bored. I heard Bhagavatam last year, this year I don't need to hear because it's the same story. It's not the same story. It's not a story. It is anubhuti. So that's what this is a very important, simple shloka, but it gives you Shravanath. Vaikuntham, we saw that before. Okay. Then he says, Saptahena Shrutam Chaidat Sarvada Muktidayakam Sanakat Yahi Purapuktam Naradaya Dayavara. So now he is going to say, so the Puranika is selling Shaunaka. Now you see, now you're going to hear what sage Narada has heard. Saptahena Shrutam. Saptaham, here Saptaham is we're coming back to the same thing, 7 days. Saptam means seven. Means the daytime, noon. So Saptaham means 7 day times. You listen for 7 days and then you get that one. So whatever that is to be heard. Etat Saptahena Shrutam. Sarvata means in all manners of fact, in every aspect. What is it going to give you? Muktidayakam. Sometimes people say, in Vaishnava Siddhantam, they don't much talk about moksham. Because for the moksham is to be a Nitya Suris, eternal beings with the Paramatma. That's also good. Very, very nicely put, because you need to have eternal Suris, because otherwise we will not have these avatars coming. All these great sages are there, eternal Suris. Of course, Advaitam goes beyond that. So that once you one with the God, it is God alone. But God alone will be an anubhuti. But when you have to be a professional, when you need to be teaching others, then you become Advaitam, a Visishta Advaitam comes in. So here, but yet you can see Bhagavatam talks about mukti, moksham. That's why this is such a kind of a wonderful text. I mean, I'm just digressing just to give you some rasam, because if you're an Advaitic learner, and you can see everything as an Advaitaparam. Advaitaparam you can see. So it is that's how all the great knowledge is like this. It appears to be right for you because it is right for you. But the true right is the truth. The truth is often elusive because when you try to search outside, you can never find it. Because the seeker is the seer. The seer is what to be sought. What to be sought. It means you can never see, you can never experience God outside. Experience is what? Experience is time and space, right? Experience is time and space. Whenever you talk about experience, when you're experiencing, you do not know its experience. The moment if you know its experience is already a thought, it's finished. You have to think about it a little bit deeper. But living it, Sat. So that is Brahma. So here what he says, you will get that kind of Atmanishta in all forms. But this is something Naradaya Proktam. So Sutta Purnamika is saying, I'm going to now tell you the 7-day rites, Saptahena Shrutam, how to listen for 7 days. See, here you can also, I think, just a minor point. No, Saptahena Shrutam. You can say Saptaham Shrutam. The second vibhakti. In English you can say 7 days I study. It means you study 7 days. What happened after this? In Tamil you say 7 naal padichen. So okay, you read for 7 days. But if you say 7 naal padichen, just in 7 days, that means you are implying that I not only studied that in those days, I acquired what I'm supposed to gain from this. So, Abhavarge Tritiya, there is a kind of a sutram is there, Pani Sutram. When you want to mention that when you do a kriya, the kriya is actually completed for giving the fruition to you, then that means as a time element is shown and the accomplishment is shown, you can use the third vibhakti. So, Saptahena Shrutam. Saptaham Shrutam is also correct grammatically. Saptahena Shrutam means when you listen for 7 days and attain all the benefit that it's supposed to attain. How to do that? That he told Narada. That we are going to learn from what Sudha is telling to Shauranakas. Now, you see Bhagavata Shabdagam happens everywhere, right? All the great scholars teach and we go there and listen and we get blessed. But even the great scholars will tell you that what they are doing as Saptagam is not the Saptagam what has been taught, because of course it can be done. To do this, you must recite all those shlokas continuously, like Sugar Brahma has given to Parikshit. We don't have the tenacity. We don't have the capacity to do. Therefore, they take these selected shlokas and they give you that one. So is it therefore lower in value? Absolutely not. Because for attaining the liberation, attaining the final goal, you only need just a word. But the preparation to do that, right? Like when you do the Olympic, when you do this archery, you do all that thing. Now preparing your thing, warm up and getting the right bow, aiming, keeping the mind focused, drying the sweaty hands. All the preparation happens. But just one shot, everything's good. So just remember in mind, because there is no way, at least we ordinary mortal, able to sit down and go through this 7 days of fruits. But we go into the essence of it. And again, Parikshit, listen how he listened without eating, without doing anything, continuous part. Are we able to do it? No. Now, I'm not saying, therefore, we will not attain this prayojanam that is intended for it. I'm just saying, this is why Kali Yugam comes in. Kali Yugam, you don't have the capacity to do it. So therefore, if your mind can be tuned such a way, therefore I go saptaham to saptaham to saptaham. But we can take in another interpretation. 7 days of continuous reciting and completing it, listening to it is one thing, because in 7th day, Parikshit is going to die. But our case is slightly lucky, I think we are. Nobody at least told us that I will die in 7 days. But I know in any of the 7 days of the week, that means any day I will die. Therefore, here I will take Saptahena Shrutam means Sarvadine. In all days I will stay. That means I have so much of time. So I don't need to worry about I will miss out something. I can take every shlokam, listen to this Bhagavata teaching, entire life I can do it. So that's how we should take the import of it. Okay. Then he says, Yad Yabhi Brahma Sambandha Shudamet Surashina Saptaha Shanaba Vidihi Kumarais Tasya Bhashidaha. So the Purana is telling Shonaka, Yetas Shrutam. This Bhagavatam, Shrutam, by listening, who is that? First, let's look at this. Sura Rishinaha. Suraha Rishina. That means who is the Rishi for the Devas, or who is the Deva Rishi? Who is that? Narada. So Narada is going to come into the picture now. So Narada, by Narada, Yeta Shrutam, he has of course listened to this. Yetat means here Bhagavatam. How did he listen to? Brahma Sambandha. So because of the relationship with the Brahma, or because simply literal meaning is by Brahma, by Brahma giving this knowledge. Yat Yapi. Yat Yapi means even though he has listened. So what he is giving an excuse, and also reinforcing Shravanam. Having listened to Bhagavatam before as recited by Brahma, yet Saptaha Shravana Vidihi, how to listen in 7 days. Kumarehi Bhashidaha, Tasya Kumarehi Bhashidaha. This way, that means the way that is going to come, Kumarehi. Here Kumara means Sanat Kumara. So in Brahma has got 4 Manasaputras. You know the story of it. So Sanaka, Sanantana, Sanadana, Sanat Kumara. Sanaka means ancient. Sanantana means eternal, ever fresh. Sanadana means Sanadana means always existing. Sanantana means eternally happy. Sanat Kumara means always young. So you can see all the adjective. Eternally ancient, but yet young, eternally happy. So there are 4 children like that. But these 4 children, 4 sons, was given the task by Brahma that you start propagating lineage in this world I created. And they said, no, I will not do this. Because this 4 has come from this tapas of Brahmadeva, full of jnanam. And the story goes, there are some stories like they said, Father, I cannot be, you are a family man, you are creating all this family stuff, and I don't want to get into this. So then I will go and ask Sri Vishnu, and then he goes to Vaikuntham. And the 4C Mahalakshmi is massaging Paramatma's feet. And this 4th thing, what is this? My father was, family man, and I come here and My Pitama is also a Grihastha. Well, I'll go to Kailasha and look at Maheshwara. So they go to Maheshwara, and there he is even more. He take Ma Parvati and put it as a part of him, part of his body. And these 4 young children were very worried. So look, what is happening? And then the story goes that then Mother Parvati says, okay, remove this Maya and show these children what it is. Then Shiva comes as a Dakshinamurti, and then these 4 children have become the disciple to them, and then he teaches them a marga called Nivritti Marga. So Brahma's task as given by Adi Narayana is to create world and maintain the Manuvartana. So Brahma is doing that. The children of Brahma who become Sanat Kumara, Sanagadi Rishis, they didn't want to go through that Pravritti Marga. So therefore, what is the story telling you is that there are 2 ways of 2 lifestyles. One is acquire, enjoy, give up, move. Acquire, enjoy, give up, move. That is a play you do. Other one is give up, acquire, give up, acquire. So what I'm saying here, there is also an acquisition in the Nivritti Margam. In Nivritti Margam, you give up the material possession, but attain Atmalabham. So acquisition happens, but by Tyagam. The Tyagam comes from Vairagya, Vivekam. So this Pravritti Margam also, when you take up, we realize that this route is a long route, M25, M26, it goes around many circles, and there is a detour. The detour comes in when you take Vanaprastham, Sannyasam. So the Grihastha can be a sannyasi, like Janaka. So here, therefore, I just digress just to give you a little bit of context. So Saptaha Shravana Vidihi is taught by who? Sanakadi Rishis to Narada. Now, the story I told you, I have got a connection now. So if Sanat Kumaras, who has given up, even refused their father's instruction, took the Jagat Guru Shankara to take Nivritti Margam and went on Nivritti ideology and truth, that path. And if those rishis are teaching Bhagavatam, then Bhagavatam is what Shastram? It has to be a Nivritti Shastra, a Moksha Shastra, Moksha Sadhana. But it talks about Puranas, talks about kings, and Dhruva's story is about how to become sit on a king's lap. Yes, it is also teaching you the Pravritti Margam, but taking you back to the Pravritti is a Leela Vibhuti of Ishvara. But from there, to attain Ishvara, you have to go to the Nivritti Margam. How do you bring this into a life? I can't renunciate and go. You renunciate the thought that I own it. Now you come back to Karma Yoga. So I can follow the Nivritti Margam in my family life, even though I acquire a car, a new car, I got a new house, but I use it to understand and give up. I'm not giving an excuse here, please understand. So your path has to really give up the ownership of things. So this is what is important here. Okay, now the story is going on like this, and Shaunaka is just asking a question. It says, you see, when the story is told, sometimes you must say, what happened then? Otherwise the storyteller will get bored. So he is asking now, Shaunaka Uvacha, Loga Vigraha Muktasya Naradasya Astirasya cha Vidishrave Shudapridi Samyoga Kutra Taihi Saha. It's quite interesting here. Shaunaka is asking a question to the Sutta Pauranika. So wait a minute, sir. You are telling me that Sage Narada was asking about Bhagavata Vidhi to Sanagati Kumara? Strange, because Loga Vigraha Muktasya. Okay, you can take it so many ways. I mean, literally, people translate.
Raja.
Take it to one way, like Loga Vigraha. I mean, Loga means in the worldly appearance. Muktasya, not that. That means Narada, sage Narada, is not like an ordinary being. You can take like this. No ordinary being. He's not like you and me. He's a great rishi. And you can take it like this. Or Vigraham also means contest, a fight, a controversy. So, Loka Vigraha Muktasya means who is free from all this controversy. He is not interested in the world's controversy because he's a liberated soul. He's a Jivan Mukta. So it's adjective for Narada. Or in some time you can say Muktasya instead of Yuktasya. Loga Vigraha Yuktasya. Or one who goes and creates controversy. You can take like, normally we see Narada as a Kalaha Priya. So there you can say Loga Vigraha Yuktasya, Yukti. You think about how to create controversy. But I think it's better to take Loga Vigraha Muktasya. Who is Jivan Mukta? Who is that? Narada? Naradasya Astirasya. Astiraha. Astiraha. Astiraha means one. Stira means staying put in one place, right? Astira means not staying in one place. That means he's a loafer. He's a nomad. He just goes around everywhere. So he says, one who is free from all the worldly controversies, one who goes away everywhere, Vidishrave Kridaha Pritihi. Why Kridaha Pritihi? Why is it got a liking for what? Vidishrave, to listen to this kind of a Saptaha Vidhis and all that. So first question. So why is he interested in this Saptaha Vidhi? Because he's already a Mukta. He's busy going around. The going around is for the second question. First part is Mukta. Why does he need it? He's going around. So therefore, Taihi Samyogaha Kutra. Kutra Taihi Saha. So where does he come closer to? Samyoga means closer to Sanagadi Rishis. So two questions. Liberated soul, why is he interested in Suptaga Rishi? One who is busy traveling around, how does he meet Sanagadi Rishis in the place? So that's what he's asking. So he says, Atrate Kitayish, this is Sutta Uvacha. Atrate Kitayishyami Bhakti Yuktam Kathanakam Shukena Mamayat Proktam Rahasyam Vicharyache. Sutta is telling, oh dear Shaunaka, Atra, that means that place where Narada met, Atra, or here, sorry, Atra here, Te, for you, Kiteshyami. I would expand this. I will elucidate this particular question, answer that you wanted. Bhakti Yuktam Kathanakam. That means this meeting, this episode of Narada meeting this Sanagadi Rishis, very, very devoted incident. It is Sukhena Mama Yat Proktam. From the Shuka Brahman, Mama, for me, that was given. How was it given? Rahasyam. Rahayat Proktam. It was given as a secret to me. How can he now, Sudha talks about a secret? How can everybody now talks about a secret? Bhagavatam is such a secret. You know, I'm telling little I know. Every book is there. Internet is full of Bhagavata text. It's not secret compromised. No, secret in Vedanta is Paramaragasyam. A Ragasyam is one that when it is exposed, loses its seclusiveness, integrity, right? But actually means when it is applied, when it is exhausted in its fruition. But Vedantam is a Paramaragasyam. But the Ragasyam is not the text. The Ragasyam is not the words. The Ragasyam is the Anubhuti. It's very important. Anubhuti means, you see, just now I said Shravanam, and Shravanam means listening. Shabda Brahma, we say. By listening, I get knowledge. Therefore, if that is a secret, that I should not tell anybody else. One says in Gita, is going to listen to that when we get the last chapter. Don't give this to anybody who doesn't deserve it. It's a secret. Gupta Jnanam, secret knowledge. The actual meaning is, this is not the word, it is beyond the word. Because you know what happened? You're going to ask the question, right? From the fire, which is the subtlest one, I come to this. What is the next one in the Panchapudas, subtle one? Is the air. That's why we went to the hearing, because hearing comes from the movement of air. Sound wave is the wave that is molecular movement of the atomic particles in the air. That's why in the vacuum you don't get the sound transmitted. But now we need to move further, right? I mean, I'm not technically correct there because, you know, even though the classical physics says that a vacuum you don't hear, that is correct, still correct. But does it mean the sound does not travel? If it does not travel, how do we hear the Big Bang noise? It passed through this atmosphere. There's no atmosphere in some places. So everything transit, but they move beyond that sense of hearing. That means beyond the power of Vayu. See? So therefore, when you hear actively, it's better than listening, better than seeing. Listening is better. But the hearing gives me the knowledge. It is a Paramaragasyam. I will tell them to those who deserves it. But I'm telling them I'm not really breaking the secret because I myself do not know the secret yet. I know the key to the secret. I haven't opened it. To open this, I need to transcend the sound part of it. What is above the sound? It's a space. What is a space? How can I go to this? Space is not, where is space? If somebody asks a question, where is space? You can't say it because you are in the space. When you are in it, you can't show it. This is it. You can show relative things, you know. You see the window there, you see that there is a rail there, and there are, what do you call it, the rods there, and between the rods, there is a space. So you need to have a tadastha lakshana, something else to show, because space you cannot see. See, I read a book, I see letters. The letters are giving a shape to the knowledge I'm gaining from the book. But how does the letters exist? Have you think about it? It's a font, it's a print. But it has got a shape to show this is K, this is P, because there is space. Without a space, there is no window, there is no structure. So therefore, you look at it now, the formulation of forms is enabled by the space. So you are in the space. So that means I don't need to show the space. I don't need to explain the space. You don't need to. But realize you are in the space and you are the space. That means Ragasyam is what? Ragasyam is the recognition, the realization that I am that Atma. I am that Parabrahma. I am the Chidahasam. Not Chidabhasam. Chidabhasam is what? It's mimicking that I know it, you know, like Tattubodha, remember that? We discussed this. Now, if a piece of glass reflects the sunlight, it can give a light to the room, it can burn the things. The glass cannot think, now I am powerful. No, the sun sets, it goes away. You say moon get confused. Moon thinks it is enlightening everybody else, but moon borrows light from the sunlight. That's why it wanes and waxes. So same way we think, I know it, I do it, because my knowledge, that is chit abhasham. Abhasham means mimicry. Chitabhasham. But chidahasam is that space where you are there. You know, I labor this point because I think our purpose is to learn Vedanta from the Bhagavatam as well. See, when you listen to the Mahavakyas, say Tatsomasi, you say Jagabhadra listened to it and he got stunned and he stopped. Arunachala, Bhagavan Ramana, as a young boy, heard this word, he stopped. Shravana, finish. How is that possible? I listened to them 200 times. Sometimes the Bhagavata who reciting Bhagavatam, I mean, doing as for profession for every day. But somebody comes there to listen to the Bhagavatam first time, and he gets it. Now, when the Katha is finished and he is still on this transcendental state, whatever you call it. So, to get that one, we call it grace of God. The Atma has to choose the person on whose embodiment it has to reveal itself. We cannot do that. See, when I say we, I'm talking about this Jiva Bhava, that I, that notional I. So, you know what I'm saying. So, but the real I is the Atma, can express to, forgive my language because there's no other way I can explain this. The Atma can express itself that I am the Atma only if it wishes to express on anybody. Otherwise, it will hide itself. When it is trying to wish itself that I am the aproksha jnana. You know, aproksha jnana means just like that, directly. And the indication that is going to do that is, it is chitta shuddhi. Your mind becomes very pure. You have the gravitas, to go towards satsang. How do I know that? Okay, I have the interest to go to this satsang. That means I am a chosen one. Yes, you are a chosen one. Maybe it takes a moment or maybe it takes many births, I don't know, but you are a chosen one. But how do I know I'm getting chitta shuddhi? Well, again, you will know, you see, this is an abhyasam, right? You need to really have metrics to measure, am I improving it or not? If you don't measure yourself, no exercise, no education is useful, right? So what is the KPI, key indicators for this? Is that when you lie, this little white lie, it hurts you. When you think of little harm to anybody else, it hurts you. Hurts you so strong that you want to do something else. When you are on that mode, believe me, many of us are like that. We don't recognize it. When you think that lying is hurting me, ahimsa hurting me, that means your chittam is mind is getting cleansed. And when you go on cleansing your mind, the Atma is saying, okay, the glass is being, give another example, like Bhagavan Shankara says all this very clearly in Uttara Shakastri, Vedashuramani. You look at the mirror and the mirror is full of dust and looking at it. Atma is myself, and the mirror is my mind. I don't see myself. I see lots of dirt, a lot of things. So what do I have to do to see myself? Do I take a cloth and wipe my face because I look ugly in the mirror? No, I need the jnanam to know I look ugly because It is not I am the ugliest one. It is the mirror that is showing me the ugliest one. See? That means the mirror is my mind. I am not a bad person. I'm not having greed. I'm not having evil ideas. They are in this mind of mine, like the shirt of mine. Now, if the mind is dirty, I know the mind is dirty because somebody is hurt by my action. A good person is hurt by my action. Therefore, I must improve myself. But I am an Atma, but mind has to be improved. Therefore, I clean the mirror. So what happens? You clean the mirror. The moment you start cleaning it, the smoke is disappearing. And suddenly you see that moment, that Satswarupam, Vaikuntam, Jikuntam cha, Swayam Bhavam. That is Vaikuntam. You start seeing your own Kanti such that you become one with that Parabrahma. I don't know why I started this, but okay. So here we're talking about this Shravana, how that was taught in Anand. So what he did there was, I am given this as a Ragasyam. Yeah, we started from Ragasyam, right? So I am given this as a Ragasyam. Why did Sugar Brahman give me as a Ragasyam? Sishyam Vicharyacha. So he took me as his Sishya. So now again, what is the other insight coming from this? He could have just said, I met Sugar somewhere in a conference or some place. We exchanged some notes and he gave me that. No, he's not saying that. This Rahasyam, Sukhena mama yat proktam, Rahasyam vicharyacha. So it is as a Sishyas, my inquiries. So therefore, two things. To get this supreme knowledge, you must always hear this from a guru. Padanat nahi, hearing. And you have to have inquiry about it. You want to have that. You need a longing for it. And it will be given as a rahasya. Now, we come back to Ragasyam, just to conclude this slogan before we go to the next one. So how does the Ragasyam happen? Is it something like I say, you hear? No. The Ragasyam is, how do you keep the Ragasyam? You encode it. You have an encryption done at 256 AES algorithm, corruption free. You can do, but still it is a form. You can unencrypt it, decrypt it somewhere. So therefore, I can show by sign language. No, I can see it. So I cannot say by a word. I can't say by writing. I can't do a physical exchange of it. Then what is that exchange? Exchange is anubhuti. So when you are with the guru is giving the jnana vairagya siddhantam, giving you the knowledge of everything else. You are gaining knowledge, your intellect is getting better, your mind is getting cleansed, but something else is happening. That is, there is a rahasyam being transferred from the guru to the Sishya. We are talking about the guru who is the Jivan Mukta. The Anubhuti get transferred. Anubhuti get transferred means the mirror got cleaned up, you started seeing yourself. Then gurus is no more needed. See what the Atma has done, because your mind is clean, it chooses you, it brings a guru to you. You don't need to look for a guru. The guru will come to you. And yat proktam, he will give you that one. So same way here, therefore Sutta Puranika is telling Shaunaka that I was taken as a Sishya to Sugar Brahma. In fact, Sutta Puranika is a Sishya of Vyasa. So he is the first one to elucidate Puranas. He has given the task of doing that. Sugar Brahman gave him the Veda Ragasyam, which is the Atmanubhuti. So Sudar is therefore replying to Shaunaka this one. Let me see if I can take one more because we lost some time. Yeah, I can do. The next question he has to answer, right? He asked, Shaunaka asked 2 questions. So, what is that you're saying to Narada? Why is he asking for that? I said, I'm going to explain that what he asked for it as secret. Where did he meet him? That he answers here. Ekatahi vishalayam chatvara rishyo malaha satsakam artha samayala tatrushus tatra naradam. Ekada means once upon a time. Vishalaya, ekatahi vishalaya. Once upon a time at Vishalaya. Vishalaya is the Badrinath. Badrinath is called Vishalam. Badrinath and Kedarnath are the 2 beautiful sthalas in the northern India, in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. Both are renovated and reviewed and rejuvenated by Bhagavan Shankara. In Kedarnath is Parameshwara. In Badrinath is Narayana. It's called Naranarayana Sthala. So where Paramatma came as a Narayana, and also as Nara. There are 4 such Parvadas there. It's also called Vishal. If you go to Badrinath, they have not been yet, hopefully do very soon. That they normally say Badri Vishal. So in Vishalaya, in the Badri Kshetram, Chatvaraha Rishayaha. These 4 rishis, Chanakadi rishis, who are they? Amalaha. So there are the objectives. Chatvaraha, Rishayaha, Amalaha. These holy 4 rishis, Satsangam Artham, to celebrate Satsangam, to generate Satsangam, to induce Satsangam. Satsangam is very important. Sadhu Jana Sangam, where there are sadhus are there. Sadhus are, we normally take sadhus are timid. No. Sadhus are dhiraha. They are the most valorous, most courageous people because they have vanquished the mental agitations for everything. And therefore they look timid to us. They have vairagyam to us. We are not important to them. Sadhu doesn't look at you, and you make fun of him, he doesn't care. Doesn't mean he is timid or coward. He's dhiraha. He can ignore your thing because, when you are in a satsangam, you listen to the bhajan and somebody says, Naresh, somebody talks about Naresh, then Naresh ears will go there. Oh, somebody's talking about me. What is it? That is always there, the abhimanam. Because is it good? I'm just taking a big example, so don't mistake me, Naresh. So is it because they want to talk something bad about me, good about me? No. But when you give up everything, when you are focused on it, that is satsangam. And also, we talk about satsangam many times. Satsangam is where sat is the you have there's a kind of a oxymoron there. I mean, Atma is asangaha. Bhagavan says in chapter 11, chapter 2, Shlokas 17, 18, 19, all this about Atma. Asangaha. Atma is unattached. That is Sat. Sat Chit Anandam. But here we are saying Sat Shangam. We associate with Atma. So here it is a kind of a elusive phrase, but it's telling you that you become asangaha for everything else. You give up everything else. So when you come to satsangam, you're coming to understand Atmajnanam through listening to the Puranas, Shlokas, and all the Sat Vishaya. But Sat is Atma. Therefore, I am coming to satsangam to be one with me. So satsanga is therefore not. So I must be always in satsangam. Means satsangam only happens Sunday morning, 10 to 11 or 10 to 12. No, that is satsangam, an assembly of sadhus. But if you are in satsangam, you are with your sat all the time. All the time you are with your sat. That means you're always thinking about who am I? Where is the sat? Now, how can I then do my job? You do better, honestly. If you can experiment this, I can challenge you. when you do things and when you do it with always in the back end of it, your mind, why am I doing this? I just have to perform. So your action becomes, involvement becomes a performance, The performance is a very, very beautiful word. In performance appraisals in companies, they do. It's not action appraisal. It's a performance appraisal. It's not your attitude appraisal. Attitude comes as part of it, but performance means you do it because there was a norm given to you. There's a role given to you. It is. So when you do a job, I'm a manager, I'm a programmer, I'm an analyst, actually, whoever the job you do, whatever job you do, and there is a norm. And when the manager is giving you salaries, division, and they look at you, how you perform against the norms, right? And therefore you do the norms, and you don't do unnatural things. Natural to the job, you do it. But if you take that, escalate this idea more and more and more. My Narajanmam Durlabha, this embodiment, which I get very rarely, is a performance. I have to perform. I'm not a angry husband to my wife and a useless son to my parents. I have to perform as a husband to my wife, a son to my father. Therefore, if you take that approach, especially you must tell the youngsters to take that approach, because it's going to make them really stand tall among the crowd. The first thing you look for is, what is that norm I need? It's a performance. I'm going to be a good husband to my wife today, or to my friends today, or as a good mitra. And I want to be like this ever. Then I must know what is my norm. The norm is situational. So when I come to the class, I have a norm of a shishya, the shishtacharya. And if I teach, I have to take a certain discipline. So this, therefore, you change your behaviors, attitudes. But if I change my behaviors, do I change it because somebody tells me to do it? That's a norm. Yes, you do. Not because you have a view. So therefore, if I have to do this job, if I have to behave like this in the community, if this is the rules of the game, I will follow the rules. Then you become a compatriot, a compatible compatriot. You don't argue. Argument has no place. So you see, Satsangam therefore gives you on that maturity. We should invite more youngsters to come to Satsangam. It's not just imparting Vedic knowledge and rituals. No, it is. We use a word called personality development. It's strange, isn't it? Because Vedanta is going to say the personality that you have is not your real nature. So you're going to kill it. So you're going to drop that personality. But to drop it, you should know what it is first. So you should develop personality. But the personality should be so flexible, so adaptable, like a clay. The clay is much better because it can adapt to any location. And an apprentice is a much better recruitment to a job than an expert, subject expert. Because subject expert can only do some things and go away. But in the satsangam, in the Atma Vicharam, in the assembly of devotees like we are here, we all are like a piece of clay coming there to be easily lending ourselves. That means a hard, dry clay cannot lend itself. It has to have moisture. It has to have compassion. It has to have love. It has to have shraddha. All these things, lubricants, make it very malleable. And then the Guru's Vachanam, or the thing that we experience, makes the shape. That shape builds your personality. So when you finish this kind of satsang classes, when you go out and talk to the people, you will have a God in you. But am I giving Hita Vachanam? Am I talking right? Am I talking the truth? Am I behaving well? Then you go. That is the time you awaken the indulging, involving, indwelling Atma Swarupam, Atma Chaitanyam to brighten up there and to wipe the windows pane. I will stop there, and my apologies for this stuff. I don't know how much you see, and I don't know how much slide that you'll be able to see it, but hope it is useful. Let's take the Shanti Padam. Om Ashadoma Shadgamaya.
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Tamashoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya.
Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Hari Om Tassat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.